and welcome to the We Talk Health podcast, the official podcast of West Tennessee Healthcare. I'm your host, Kara Mobley, and on today's episode, I have Loren Newton. He is a transplant recipient. He received a heart transplant, and so we're going to talk to him a little bit about his journey with that. Welcome to the show, Loren.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on with us. So I want to go ahead and start with, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Well, I am actually from Madison County, Tennessee. I was born in Jackson and raised in a little place called Pinson, Tennessee. I am retired from law enforcement. I got two living children. One, my daughter and her family live in Milan, Tennessee, and she has two children. And my son lives in South Jackson, and he has a handful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Milan, that's a little ways away. I know Pinson well. I drive through it every day because I live in Henderson.
Oh, okay.
So, Loren, tell us a little bit about your health journey and your journey through organ failure.
Well, I was one of those people that thought if you took care of yourself, you'd have a long life. So I used to lift weights as a policeman and do a lot of running and never had heart trouble.
Right.
Till that day.
Yeah, and I've heard of that happening where, you're a healthy person, nothing that kind of led you onto it. So kind of tell me about what happened that day, or what led to the the event.
Well, I woke up during the night one night. I lived with my daughter and her children at the time, or they lived with me, and couldn't breathe. So I just wrote it off and thought I'd just go back to sleep, and woke up the next morning a little later, that is, and feeling a little worse. So I told her I need to go to the ER. And of course, I took a shower and we went. And the emergency room doctor walked in. He says, "You got congestive heart failure." He said, "The left side of your heart has quit." So that put me on a long road.
Right. And so, did they say there was any, factor to it, or I guess that can just happen to some people, without any notice, I guess.
No, they blame the heart failure on my daddy. He had heart failure, but
yeah, so it's genetic. Yeah, I guess
genetic. Yes.
Yeah. So once you got that news, how was the process like getting on the transplant list?
Well, actually, I went to see a heart doctor, and he put me in a defibrillator. And to help the left side of my heart, it was set to go off constantly. I wanted a second opinion because I wasn't feeling any better, and I didn't feel like I was getting any better. So I went to my second opinion and talked to the doctor. Probably just for a few minutes, he said, "I will let you know you need help. I really would like to send you to Vanderbilt and see about getting an LVAD put in you." So that got my journey started with Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And that was in 2013 when all this started.
Okay. So it was not very long, I guess, from going to the ER to getting sick.
Not at all.
Right after another.
It's the fastest I've ever seen anybody move.
Right. And so how long were you on the transplant list? Kind of how did that get brought up to you, and how are you feeling during that time?
Well, of course, going through so strange, but let me get back to my LVAD, if it's okay.
Yeah.
So they put my LVAD in me, and it was so strange because at some point, my heart had completely stopped. So my LVAD was the only thing keeping me alive.
So is that like a pacemaker?
No, it's a pump. Pumps your blood through.
Oh, okay.
Attached to your heart, it pumps your blood. And you're right. Well, that question, people in Jackson at the emergency room had never seen one.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that.
I could show up at a doctor's office or even the emergency room, and my room would fill up with people. They were very fascinated with it.
Right.
I didn't have a heartbeat. I had no pulse. If you got close enough to me, you could actually hear it. It hummed, so you could hear a hum when you get close to me.
Oh.
And then in having to deal with it because I lived off of batteries, but at night I'd hook up to electricity, and that's what kept me going. And then in 2016, I was having trouble with my LVAD, and they decided that they needed to do some extra tests to try to determine what was going on, and found out I had a blood clot in it. And they said, now something has got to be done. So like I say, 2016, July the 22nd in 2016, which is my daddy's birthday, they called, told me they were going to list me for a heart.
Okay. So that was their solution at that time until they started having complications with you. Right. And so that's when the prospect of needing a transplant came up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yes. And so that was 3 years later?
Yes, ma'am.
So once you were told about needing a transplant, kind of what were your feelings at the time and what did they kind of tell you was the wait time on that?
They could not guarantee me a wait time, which is, I had been through so much anyway. What was another day?
And so what was your life like while you were waiting? You know, I know you mentioned that, you were healthy, you were working out. What were you kind of able to do since the time you got,
after my LVAD, I couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Because I had to be around, no matter what I did, I had to have somebody, if I was out, because I was still trying to do rescue squad work. So I don't remember when it was now, but we had a little boy, Pinson, come up missing, and I was one of the first people there, and I didn't left with the area till we found him. And my daughter was having to bring me batteries through the day to keep my pacemaker, defibrillator going. So there's a lot of things I still couldn't do.
Right. So you were just really highly dependent on others and on the machinery and everything.
Yeah, and it's about the same now.
Yeah. So describe the moment when you received the call that there was a heart available.
All right. So remember I said July the 22nd of 2016 on the 24th, I believe, 25th, 24th. I don't remember now, but I had just got up and sitting on the side of my bed, and my phone rang about 7-ish in the morning, which is too early to talk to anybody.
Right. That's an early call.
Before coffee.
Right.
And a lady I had never talked to in my life talked to me like she'd known me all my life. Asked me how I was doing and all that, and she asked me what I've got going on for the day. And I said, well, today's payday. When it's payday, I pay my bills.
Right.
She says, but I got something you may want to do. She says, I've got your heart. She says, but I have to tell you about it because it's a high-risk heart. I said, all right. She said, the heart is 35 years old. The man got killed in prison in Florida. So you remember I said I had retired from law enforcement.
Right, yeah.
So you're talking about what a life to live.
Right.
So she said, you need to be here at 11 o'clock.
That day?
So that day. So what I ended up doing, I called my daughter at work. I told me some stuff in the suitcase. She come home and told her some stuff in the suitcase. And we started down the Interstate 40 to Nashville from Jackson, Tennessee, and run across 5 accidents.
Oh, my goodness.
We like to never got there. So we run across another accident. Almost in Nashville, we got off and thought we would do one of the streets, 4 lanes through Nashville. And lo and behold, if we didn't find another one.
Yeah.
I actually got to Nashville just a few minutes after 11. We checked in, sat down. My surgery was supposed to be at 1 o'clock, or down or wherever they carry you for surgery. Mm-hmm. So after 2 o'clock, we wanted to know what in the world's going on. You know, we're here on time. Right. We're past our surgical starting point. And come to find out, they forgot about me.
Oh, no.
Oh, just another day in my life.
Right.
So
you had a lot of obstacles.
Just another obstacle. So they finally got me up. I was trying to think what time they carried me up. I'm really not sure. They had me up and in surgery at 8. They opened my chest at 8 p.m. And closed it at 4 a.m. And next morning at 9 o'clock, I was sitting up in the chair asking for breakfast.
Wow. So that was an 8-hour surgery.
Yep. But it went pretty good.
And so, so what was that process in recovery like? Did they give you any idea of, what to expect, or, how are you feeling in the days right after?
I didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. I know I felt tired all the time.
Yeah.
But I know the strangest point of sitting in the chair after surgery, and I could hear my heartbeat.
Yeah.
I could feel my heartbeat.
Yeah,
and for quite a while afterwards, I could still do that.
Oh, wow.
I just couldn't get used to it.
Yeah. And I was going to say, how are you feeling about, knowing that, this was a heart that was transplanted into you?
Well, I'm glad there's enough knowledge to be able to save people and give them organs when they need them. If we can just get people to understand there's a very big need out there. I've lost friends waiting on hearts that just never got them.
Right.
You know, and we have every transplant group. If we're a transplant group, we call each other family, regardless of what organ was transplanted. The heart people, I seem to be the closest to because we have a bond. We've all gone through the same stuff. All the physical therapy we had to do for months after our surgery, and the time we had to spend in Nashville, away from home and family, and of course having to have somebody sit with you. You couldn't be by yourself while you were in Nashville, and it was different.
Now, you said you received it in 2016, so you're coming up on almost 10 years now with it, correct?
Pretty close, I guess. I have to ask my daughter now. How long has it been?
Yeah, so I think, it would be almost 9 years this July, I believe, if I'm counting right.
Oh, okay, August. Okay.
Because if it was July of 2016 and this is 2015, yeah. So I guess next year would be your 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, because I got it in August.
Oh, in August. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the time they listed me in July.
Okay, so they listed you in July, and you got the call in August?
In August, yeah, about a month later.
And now, so how has your life changed now that, you're no longer on the machinery things? You've got the transplant, did they give you anything, that you have to do specifically now with the transplant?
Of course, I'm on medicine the rest of my life,
right.
Which is, I guess that's okay. And I'm a professional volunteer, so I do volunteer work for nothing, and I've been all over. I traveled the United States.
Okay.
Of course, spent time in Selma during the tornadoes, and left there and went to Union City for the flooding and worked. And I'm trying to get over that. That for some reason it was so hard on me physically.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say to someone who might be hesitant to register as an organ donor? Because I know, as you said, some people can wait and never receive a transplant just because of lack of availability and things like that.
Well, through life, there's a lot of things people need. There's a lot of things people want that they don't need.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about the life you can save when an organ is all that they're asking for. It can't be used once you're gone.
Right.
It can be used for somebody here. I know that the young man that gave me his heart had also donated kidneys to a lady in Jackson, Tennessee. So thanks to him, there's two of us still going strong. And a lot of people deserve a little longer life, and even regardless if it's need an organ or not. Some people are just blessed with good, healthy lives, and some aren't. No matter what you do to take care of yourself, that doesn't mean in the long run you're going to come out on top.
Right.
Just remember as you travel through life, remember everybody around you, because it takes everybody to make life evolve.
Mm-hmm. Right. And now with your story, talk to me about, what makes you so passionate about sharing your story. And I know, with organ donation and things like that, it's a difficult topic to broach. So tell me kind of what drives you to share your story.
Now that I'm able to move on with my life, I've seen two grandchildren, one married, my first great-grandchild, another grandchild getting married in June. And I'd like to say a house full of great-grandchildren before it's my time to go.
Right.
I just like to share what little knowledge I've got of life at my age with my grandchildren. I hope I can make them responsible adults, but in life, this thing in time, it's the hardest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, Loren, thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. And, especially with Donate Life Month, spreading that awareness. You've got people, who are the recipients of organs or family members of people whose organs were transplanted. It's such a dynamic topic, and hearing from people like you who've received a transplant and, all these years later and all the things you've been able to do and continue to see with your family is very important. And so that's why we want to share these stories, to get this information out so that people can understand how this opportunity can save and improve lives.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And so I just want to close out by saying, all of us do have the opportunity to potentially save and improve lives. So if if you're listening and you would like to register to be an organ donor, you can go to bethegifttoday.com. Well, Loren, it was so glad to get to talk to you and get to know you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you, young lady. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for listening to We Talk Health. This podcast is not intended to replace any medical advice. Nothing said in this podcast is intended to supersede or supplement the direction of your medical caretakers. If you have any questions or would like to request a topic, you can reach out to us at wetalkhealthpodcast@gmail.com.